Wow. Thank you. Now, I don't know if I'm dreaming this, but years ago when I was a staff minister here, I don't know if I did the power talk. We used to do power talks. Anyway, I was out on the patio, and this young lady came up to me and said, "I'm just visiting, but I want you to know I just loved your service today. My name's Lauren Daigle." And I go, "Oh, I didn't know who Lauren Daigle was." And I don't even know if she was out there yet. But when I saw her and heard her, I remembered her. And I'm just like, wow. So thank you guys for those songs today. So you guys had a great service last week. I wish I was here, but I was not feeling good. But I feel great today. So I saw, thank you. I saw this. I like to look at Facebook, and a lot of things I don't like, but things that impress me, I share them usually with you. But I love this one, and there's a reason I'm showing you this. Pope Francis to children in Singapore. All religions are paths to reach God. They are, to make a comparison, like different languages, different dialects to get there. But God is God for everyone. If you start to fight saying, my religion is more important than yours, mine is true and yours isn't, where will this lead us? I just think that's so beautiful because that's what I heard growing up. Okay. There is only one God, and each of us has a language to arrive at God. Some are Sikhs, Muslim, Hindu, Christians. They are different ways to God. And I love that. We all have our paths. You may not even call it God. You may, it's divine. To me, it's that divine energy that's within each and every one of us. But why this really touched me, especially, it was 2 weeks ago. Elizabeth and I were working in the office, and somebody called, and Elizabeth said, somebody wants to pray here in our sanctuary. Wanted if we were open and pray in our sanctuary. And she said, I think I'll just take them out in the garden. I said, okay. So she went, and then she came and she said, no, they want to be in the sanctuary. So I said, it's okay. They were Muslims. And they drove by, they pray 5 times a day. And they drove by and they saw our sign, said, we welcome everyone. And they saw that there were, that was a picture of a Muslim there. And they were visiting here from Boston. And their daughter said, Mom, it's because they were going to have to look for their temple, which I think is in India or something. And she said, why don't we just call them? So they came in here and prayed, and then they came into the office afterwards to thank us. And I just said, I am so grateful. I feel so honored that you chose us to come here and pray because you are so welcome. And I read that to her. I had just gotten that, and I had read that to her. And she goes, this is how we all need to be. We are just one. And that touched me so much, so I wanted to share that with you. We are all one. And that goes for whether you're Republican or Democrat. We are all one. I know, just breathe. So remember this, the same God who created mountains and oceans and galaxies looked at you and thought, the world needed one of you too. I've always said, even when I was young, before I found this, there are no accidents in the universe. We are here for a divine purpose. To shine that light, to be that light. So I'm doing chapter 3, what it does, and this is from that. The universe is impersonal. It gives alike to all. It is no respecter of persons. It values each alike. Its nature is to impart. Ours is to receive. But what are you imparting? That's the thing. That's what I want to talk about. We receive what we put out into the universe. So my talk today is tag you're it. Okay, you are the one that's creating your life. So the mind is everything. What you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. And why this is so important, I had lunch this week with a dear friend of mine that I met here at the center before, when I was just starting to take my first Science of Mind classes. I met her here, and she doesn't come here, but we meet once a year around our birthday times to celebrate our birthdays. And she was telling me about her daughter. Now, her daughter had lived in Sicily. She had gotten newly married. She met a guy that she had seen in high school, and he was like a general or something in Italy. And so they got married, and she had to go to Sicily, and she had to pull her daughters out of school and everything. And she loved it there, and then he retired, and they came back, and they were living in this, like near Carlsbad or somewhere. And she's been living here for a few years. She said, I've got to go back to Sicily. I loved Sicily so much. And so this lady, she wrote down every day what it was she wanted to manifest, knowing this was what she was wanting when she went to Sicily, knowing. And her husband, who had a job now, he was retired, but he knew she wanted to go to Sicily, and he saw this job being advertised, and he said, well, I have the qualifications. She's living in Sicily now. You are the manifestors in your life. If you think crap, you're going to see crap, and you're going to have it in your life. Okay? You are the ones. You are the ones. And so know it and feel it, because aim at nothing and you are sure to succeed. Have a vision. Have a vision. And, not only did she write this, you have this divine energy within you that is always there, always going to answer, but you've got to, I always call it Big Laura. We'll be in the office and we think, okay, what are we going to do? I go, wait a minute. And I'll say, okay, what do we should do, Lord? And I get an idea. It may not be the perfect idea, but then we might manipulate it a little bit to create the one, but it gave us the direction to go. You have that. Talk to this higher self in you. I was told one time, I was sitting when we used to have Coco's here in Palm Desert, and I was sitting there, and a lady was sitting across from me, and she kept looking at me, and hi, I'm eating, and she said, can I come over and talk to you? And I go, yeah. She said, you have about 12 angels around you. And then I had a reading one time, somebody said I had 12 angels and about me, and we all have them. We all have these divine guides around us. And so what is it you want? If you think, oh, my life is awful, nothing good happens to me, the universe goes, oh, okay, this is what you want. Let's keep it up. She's liking it. She's talking about it. But be in that state of gratitude. Then you are a magnet to that. So I want to share this with you. Before I even found this center, I had split up with my husband. I had 2 boys, and my business partner, Donna Ayotte, we took she had 2 sons too. They lived across the street from us, and we went to Lake Tahoe. And I was going through a dark night of the soul, and I was in there just praying. I wasn't even meditating. I was just like going within and going, God, I don't know what to do. I'm in this dark place, and I'm just sitting there closing my eyes, and I would see this light flash. And I like looking, and and I go, oh, that means that light is always there for me, guiding me. It's God. And then the message, the thing I had, what came to me was, no, Laura, you're the light wherever you are. And so after, I thought, oh, wow. And then after that, Donna, my business partner, knew of this lady in Encinitas who was a spiritual teacher, and I went to a couple workshops, and we did this one workshop. And I think what we were doing that day was, who are you? Why did you come here? And this is what came to me. I am a beacon of universal light and unconditional love. I heal myself by allowing all my feelings to flow freely without judgment, blame, shame, or guilt. I accept and love all of me. I share this wisdom with others, freeing them of ignorance and limitations, guiding them back to their true essence of pure love and pure light, guiding them back to God. That's what I do now. I wasn't even in this church then. And this was the download I got. And so when I got my diagnosis, the boys, my two sons, had Reverend William sandblast a lighthouse. And I have it in my bedroom, and it says, "You'll always be our guiding light, Mom." And so, but we are all guiding lights. We all have this light within us. Use it. Use it. Talk to it. Talk to that divine self. Listen, say, I need to know what to do. What should I do right now? You know, I shared about the day I had watched that movie, you know, with, anyway, about the angel and Meg Ryan and what was his name? Nicolas Cage. And I said, oh, I wish I knew what my angel's name was. And then I went to a workshop in Sedona, and I didn't know they were doing readings. And at the end of it was a spiritual thing. I said, oh, a spiritual church? I've never been to one. I hadn't been here yet. And I said, oh, I wonder what that's like. And anyway, I went in there, and then at the end they said, after the service, we're going to do readings. I thought, oh, God, they're going to read the Bible or something, you know. And I'm like sitting there going, oh, but I couldn't get up and leave. It was a small room. And then afterwards, the man went to somebody else. She goes, I've got a reading for you. And she told me that, she said, you have a lot of angels, but I want you to know their name is Angie. And I said, okay. Thank you. And I thought, well, I got what I asked for. I was brushing my teeth, which I'd like to know. But Angie so I call her Big Laura. You understand, right? Anyway, but I call her Big Laura. But we all have this divine radar within us. So a unity must be established and conscious connection must be made before we can drive the benefits which the greater mind is willing to reveal or impart to us. That's why we do meditation. That's why we quiet our minds, to make that connection with spirit, to connect with that power that's within you. You have so much power. Use it. Use it from a place of love and good, and be that beacon too. We are each beacons. It's not just me. We're all that beacons. You became who you needed to become in order to survive. Now it's time to become who you need to become in order to thrive. And I love that. And, you know, because some of us here, I'm sure there's some of us, have had, I've heard terrible childhoods, that you went through things and you had to go through things to survive. Well, pull up your big boy pants now and thrive. You know, if you're going through anything, you should be taking that Prosperity Plus class. Really, because prosperity is not just financial. It's everything in your life. You need to really tap into that and use that power that you have. Don't just sit here. Don't just come in here for an hour. Live it. Live it. Hope is good. It is better than despair. But it is a subtle illusion and is an unconscious compromise and has no part in an effective mental treatment. You've got to know what it is, and you have to know when you claim it, it's yours. I know I've shared this, but I love this story. I was reading one of Neil Donald Walsh's books, and so it said you've got to choose the good you want. You can't say, oh, I want this. I choose love. I choose health. I choose prosperity. I choose joy in my life. And so I read whatever that was in the book. I said, oh, we've been doing it wrong. We've been wanting things, guys. We have to start choosing what we want. So the next day, my son, Corey, my other son, who is probably in about, well, you were still in school, right, Ryan? So Anyway, you don't remember. Anyway, so anyway, he I want to say he was in 3rd or 4th grade. He calls me up after school. He called me where I said, "Is everything okay?" He said, "Oh yeah, I just had to tell you what happened today, Mommy." And I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, at lunchtime, I decided I wanted a Coke. So I went up to the Coke machine. I didn't have any money. I went up to the Coke machine and said, 'I choose a Coke.' And I hit the button, and I go, 'Oh.' And he goes, 'And I got a Coke.'" I said, "Wow, Corey, what a little manifester you are." He goes, "Wait, Mom, there's more." And I said, "Okay." He said, "After school, I was waiting for my ride home. I went up to the Coke machine again, and I said, 'I choose a Coke.' And I hit the button, and no Coke came out, Mom." And I go, "Well, Corey, And he goes, "Oh," he said, "change came out." I got a Coke, and I had money left over. So what are you choosing in your life? Please start choosing good things. Our news, we've had this horrible, the fires and everything, and it's a great time for us to go into gratitude and compassion for people and do things. And so, and then there's more left over. There's more left over. So the more power one gives to his thought, the more completely he believes that his thought has power, the more power it will have. You start using it, you're going to start seeing things change in your life, and then it's going to just be more automatic. You'll catch yourself saying things like, I call it a spiritual bitch slap. Don't do that anymore. Anyway, so when you focus on the good gets better. So that's our charge this way. Let's focus on the good. And let's just know that no matter how things seem up in the air, we don't know, let's know good is evolving. Because that's why we're here. We're here now to bring that love and that light in the world. A week or so ago, somebody started talking politics again. I go, whoa, I don't want to. Why are we doing this? Let's go back and have a nice conversation. You're not going to change me. I'm not going to change you. I don't care how you feel. Don't care how I feel. Let's just feel that love and be together. And so that's your charge this week. Just feel the love. Namaste.